What's up guys, welcome to my first ever YouTube reaction video. Now today we're gonna see the difference between a European truck and an American truck. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like and comment. Okay, let's start the video. We're just gonna make this block right here a bit smaller.
Have you ever wondered why trucks in the US seem to have smaller engines that are less powerful than the ones in Europe? After all, most things do seem to be bigger in the US than in most places in the world, right? So how is it that engines end up being smaller? Well, the engines in the US seem to have 605 horsepower capacity and 2,050 pound-feet of torque as their maximum. European engines have 750 and 770 HP engines, with up to 3,700 pound-feet of torque. Wondering why that is? Well, there are several reasons why the engines in Europe are somewhat larger than the ones you find in the US, despite the trucks in America being much larger in size than their European counterparts. Could it just be the whim of the manufacturers in each region, or are there external factors such as landscape or the weight of the goods being hauled? Let's dive in and find out why European trucks have way more powerful engines than American ones. Before we begin, let's make it clear that trucks don't even need that much horsepower. It's mainly the amount of torque that an engine can generate that helps the truck haul all that load for thousands of miles. As long as the engine's crankshaft keeps churning, more torque will be produced, more force will be applied, and the truck will be able to perform more work. Mind you though, the value of torque is measured in Newton meters in Europe and in pound-feet in the United States. Another factor you might want to look at is the landscape of geographical features of the US and Europe. It might not surprise you to learn that the roads in Europe and the US differ quite a lot. However, it will come as a surprise that the US terrain has a lot of flat surfaces. Of course, there are many hills and mountains in the United States, but the wide and smooth roads along interstate highways are flat and easy to maneuver, as truckers haul their loads across the country. This doesn't go to say that their terrains are better than Europe, but it definitely does make driving easier. On the contrary, roads are
So basically they're saying that European trucks are smaller than American trucks because they got less road space, but more hills to climb. That's why they need more horsepower. Yeah, I got it.
across most of Europe can be more challenging. Many roads in Europe branch out into smaller roads. Others are hilly and have very sharp inclines, which means you'll have to change gears and speeds quite often when driving. These sharp changes in elevation within just a few hundred meters can also be one of the reasons why European manufacturers produce engines with more torque and more horsepower capacity than those that we come across in the US. Yet another defining factor for the engine power difference could be the difference in weight being hauled in the US and Europe. In the United States, there appears to be little need for a powerful engine because not only are the roads flat, but the federal weight limit that a single truck can carry in the United States caps at 80 tons. So you can't have more than that set limit goods on your truck at once. And believe it or not, an engine with 2,500 Newton meters of torque can handle that quite easily with absolutely no strain or compromise in its performance. On the contrary, the maximum weight limit varies within the EU. While there isn't one set number, it can be anywhere from 60 to 90 to 104 tons, depending on the type of truck or the axles it might have. So for weights above 80 tons, you need an engine with a higher torque than 2,500 Newton meters, the torque needed for American trucks. Couple this with the hilly roads of Europe and it becomes a tad bit more apparent why the engines in Europe are more powerful than those in the US. As such, the major manufacturers of engines in the US trucking market include Mack, Detroit Cummings, and PACCAR. And the strongest engine you'd find in the US right now is the Detroit DD15, a 14.8-liter engine that has the capacity to generate 1,550 to 1,750 pound-feet of torque and 400 to 505 horsepower. That being said, you'd find that many, if not most of the engines in the US are 12 to 15-liter engines that generate 400 to 550 horsepower. In contrast, the European engine manufacturers, which include Mercedes, MAN, DKA, Echo, and perhaps more popularly known, Scania, have been known to make more powerful engines with horsepower ranging between 440 and 640 HP, with the most powerful ones being produced by Volvo and Scania. The Volvo D6K, which is known as the world's strongest 6-liter engine, produces 750 horsepower and 3,550 Newton meters worth of torque, while the Scania V8, which is even bigger and more powerful than the Volvo D16K, has a 770 horsepower capacity and 3,700 Newtons meters worth of torque. That being said, it's interesting to note that some of these American and European manufacturers actually work together. For example, Volvo, Mack, and Scania share their engine parts and information concerning technology with one another.
Now that is a lie because Volvo, Scania, and Mack do not share engines because they are competitors. So keep that in mind.
So you say that while these engines may differ when it comes to how they've been built, With that, it's clear that there are several factors leading up to the engines in Europe being more powerful. In fact, the more you look into it, the more justified it seems that European engines are stronger than American ones. And until the weight restrictions of the landscape of the US changes, which is highly unlikely, this will probably stay this way. Well, that's a wrap for this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure
So yeah guys, that concludes my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, drop a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe, and leave a comment. Peace.